All right. Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the show. How's everybody doing? Welcome, my friends. Welcome. Let there be light. Hang in there. All right. As the chat room fills up, as people flood into the channel, as they always do when I go live, they just flood in. It's hard to keep up with sometimes. Currently, we're sitting at 2, and I know both of them. That's how it goes. All right, well. Shall we? So, tonight we'll be running another live trivia stream. So, good evening to Seth the Saxon out there in the chat. Good to see you out there again. You're always there, and I appreciate that. I don't know what I'd do without you. I wouldn't know what the stream looks like. All right, folks. As we gather some viewers into the channel. We do need some contestants. This game doesn't work very well with no players. All right, everything's ready from my end. We'll be ready to go as soon as we have contestants. We have some new questions for tonight added into the mix. Expanding the game out a little bit to a little broader. I have a foundation in Bible history, geography, in and around the Bible, and and some general knowledge questions added in. I've got a Bible quotes section ready for you tonight. We'll see how that goes. Let's get the chat fired up over here. There we go. EKC Rain, good to see you out there, my friend. Okay, well, we had this stream advertised for a few hours today. I thought that might help get some people to flow in here, but so far we've got two viewers. Thank you for the two viewers. There's Carissa, the reigning champion. Yeah, I don't know if I can really trust the numbers that YouTube gives me on these streams. It's showing 2 concurrent viewers right now, and I can see 3 for sure, and I know that there's probably 5. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but whatever. We'll play the game. We'll get one going here. For anyone who wants to join in, get your Kahoot app. Get your Kahoot app. Download the Kahoot app to your iOS device or your Android device. Get yourself set up on there. You don't have to register, nothing like that. When the app asks you how you would like to use this app, just say socially, no big deal. And then I will give out a PIN number before the round begins, and you can answer those questions live and see your results on stream. The way this works, the trick to this is it's best to watch the stream on something else, on a smart TV, on a laptop, or somewhere else, and answer the questions on your device. You can play along by going to kahoot.it and inputting the PIN number there as well. Yeah, AKC, you can answer the questions. It probably would be to do a little split screen on a laptop or something like that. You can answer the questions using the webpage kahoot.it. You can put in the PIN number there and play along that way as well. And I'll go ahead and remind you while we're warming up here, folks, anyone who wants to donate live while we're on stream, all two of you out there who might want to. Anyway, you can do that by going to streamlabs.com/PlastroParis1. The links are in the description, and if you do so, it'll look something like that. And you will see that lovely, lovely animal with his lovely hat and shades, greeting you and thanking you for your support. All right. We will start out tonight with we'll try to start anyway. Continuing with the pool of questions we've been using for the last couple streams. We'll start out there. The EKC, I'll give you the pin in just a moment. As soon as we've got some folks in here, once I bring the game up onto the screen, I'll give you the pin at that time. The pin will be unique for each round. Which is going to be happening, goodness, in just a moment. Yeah. Strangely, Firefox does not like the Kahoot webpage, so we'll bring this up a different way over here on another browser. Thank you, Firefox, for laying down on me. Appreciate you, Firefox. What's up with that, man? As I said earlier, we might jump into some general knowledge questions as well, some science, geography. Once we get this thing set up. There we go. There will be our screen for tonight. We'll be ready to go for round one in just a moment. I hope we've got some people out there ready to go, ready to play. Every man for himself. No teams yet. I haven't quite figured out how to play a team on this yet, but so every man or woman for himself. There you go, my friends. There's your PIN number. Your PIN number for round one is going to be 891-6555. 891-6555. I had to make some last minute adjustments because Firefox chose to lay down and not work with the Kahoot app. So there we go. There we go. Now we're rolling. If you want to log in and join this round, you'll need your Kahoot app on your iOS or your Android device. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. In front of a live studio audience here tonight. Sometimes they get upset. And they do that. So if you get your Kahoot app out, get that set up, put in the PIN number when prompted, 891-6555. Two folks ready to go at it. There's Lappy. Good to see you in the chat again. Maurice Grenier, welcome. It's good to see some new faces. Well, some new names. Excellent. We've got 5 people in the lobby. Very exciting. Very, very exciting indeed. Once again, anyone who wants to donate to the stream on the live stream, you can do that by going to streamlabs.com/plasteroparis1. The link is in the description. And if you do that, it'll look something like that. You can see that lovely doggy greet you. And you can leave a message too if you want to. Just keep it clean, why don't you? All right, let's get busy. We got looks like we've got a nice group ready to go here. 6 folks ready to roll. Too cool for school. Welcome. Mao. Lappy. Good evening. Carissa and EKC. Ready to go. All right, let's start this round. Here we go, folks. Get ready, because it's time. Here we go. What queen of Persia was replaced by Esther? What queen of Persia was replaced by Esther? I'm well aware of the delay, folks. I've allowed for that. So just answer as soon as you can. You'll be getting your possible answers before I give the question. Usually, I guess because of the delay, just bear with me. It works out in the end. Everything will be fine. Just calm down. Just calm down. It'll be okay. What queen of Persia was replaced by Esther? Was it Cleopatra, Vashti, Candace, or Delilah? "15 seconds to go. "5 seconds. Everyone got an answer in on that one. Very good. 6 answers, and 2 of them were correct. It was Vashti. What queen of Persia was replaced by Esther? It was Vashti. All right, let's check the board. There's Carissa at the top. We've seen that before. What happened? Good evening. Good evening. All right, here we go. Question number 2. When was Judaism formed as a religion? When was Judaism formed as a religion? 2085 BC? Was it 560 BC? Was it 30 AD on this side of the line? Or was it 3500 BC? That's right, Lappy. Our delay is usually anywhere from 15 to 20 seconds, depending on how solid our connection is. So that leaves everyone about 40 seconds to get an answer in. So it usually works out okay. We've found that this works pretty well. Look, no one's here to play for cash prizes, so it's going to work out in the end. Okay, 6 answers come in. 2 correct answers. When was Judaism formed as a religion? Oh, I missed it. I missed the answer, but Mao was in there with it. Let's go to question number 3. Let's keep moving. Let's get through this one quick. Which of these creatures is not associated with John the Baptist? Which of these creatures is not associated with John the Baptist? Now, the point is here, when John is presented to us, John the Baptist is presented to us in the Bible, there's a description given of him, the type of shirt he wears, what he eats. and what kind of pants he wears. You get an idea of his clothing, what he likes to eat. He looks a mess, but he is the forerunner of Jesus Christ. So one of these creatures is not associated with the description we get of John the Baptist. Four answers in, 5 answers in, 10 seconds left. A little time left to get some points. There we are. Which of these creatures is not associated with John the Baptist? Well, we get him, the description we're given, he's wearing a hair shirt. Well, that would be a camel hair shirt. He likes to eat locusts. That's the description we get. And raw honey. That's what he eats, locusts and raw honey. And he wears a hair shirt. Sounds comfortable, right? A hair shirt. So ravens. We don't get a description of John the Baptist having anything to do with ravens. Later on, we do get that with Elijah out in the desert, out in the wilderness. All right, next question. Well, let's look at the scoreboard here. Mao. Mao is on fire. Chairman Mao. Chairman Mao sits atop the heap. Maurice. I'm going to assume that's Maurice. Welcome, Maurice. Welcome to the show. Okay. Everybody calm down. Calm down back there. Everybody be quiet. Okay, next question. Question 4. Who described himself as an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin? Who was it that described himself as an Israelite of the seed of Abraham? One of the originals. He comes right from the original line. It means he's a Jew of Jews. He's a Hebrew of Hebrews. And describes himself as being of the tribe of Benjamin. Was that Jesus of Nazareth? Was that Saul of Tarsus? Was that Jacob? Or was that Judas Iscariot? "20 seconds left. We've got 2 answers in. I can hear brains turning. I can hear Bibles flipping. You know, if we cause one person to open their Bible and look inside it tonight to try to find an answer, we've done our job. All right. The answer is Saul of Tarsus. 4 people got that one right. Excellent work. Good job. Saul called himself, he's an Israelite of the seed of Abraham. That means he sees his lineage is coming directly from Abraham. He was a Hebrew of Hebrews. He was part of the Jewish elite at the time until he had his massive conversion. Okay. And the scoreboard now. Mao sitting atop the heap. Carissa has competition now. EKC holding fast right there in the middle. Lap E is gonna be catching up soon. And as for Wood Evening, what's going on? What are you doing out there, Wood Evening? I happen to know who Wood Evening is, my friends. I know who that is. That could very well be my own flesh and blood. I don't know. We'll see. I think it is. Next question. Question number 5. Who was called the son of perdition? In the New Testament. Oh, no. Sorry. Take that back. Who was called the son of perdition? Was that Caesar? Ananias? Was it Herod or Judas? Yeah, that term shows up in the New Testament. As the tension builds, the tension mounts. Time is running out. Was it Caesar, Ananias, Herod, or Judas? Who was called son of perdition? 6 answers come in on that one, and 5 got it correct. Good evening. Got an answer right. Good job out there. Okay. Mao with a firm grip on the top spot. Maurice with a streak of 5 correct answers in a row. All right. So we're over the hump now. We're to question 6, I believe it is, in round 1. Here we go. Question 6. Who was the first to preach the gospel to the Gentiles? The first to take the gospel to the Gentiles. To take the gospel from where they had been preaching to the Jews. Who was the first one to take the gospel to the Gentiles? Was that Philip? Paul? Was it Jesus? Or was it Peter? It's not a trick question. You guys are silly out there in the chat. You guys are silly. Who was the first to preach the gospel to the Gentiles? 5 answers in, 2 are correct. It was, in fact, Peter. Paul would be the answer you would go with, because Paul was known for taking the gospel to the Gentiles. He's known for doing that, but he wasn't the first. He wasn't the first to take it to the Gentiles. So, now see, that's an important point. Something that we can, you learn through the process of this trivia that you might not have already known. Something that makes the scripture come alive a little bit. So it's not sitting there as just a dead book on the shelf. Talk about it. Carissa has taken the lead again. 4 correct in a row. We've got a battle for the top spot. Look at Wood Evening out there with making a show now. Out of the, not out of the cellar yet, but making a show, getting some correct answers out there. Good guesser. All right. Here we go. Question number 7, round 1. Who accused Jesus of an association with Beelzebub? Who accused Jesus of being in league with or having an association with Beelzebub? Was it the chief priests? Was it the Samaritans? Was it the Levites or the Pharisees? Who accused Jesus of having an association with the devil? An association with the adversary, with Satan. They called him a blasphemer. Four answers have come in. 5 answers are in. This is from the Gospel of Matthew, and there we go. It is the Pharisees. 4 correct answers on that one. It was the Pharisees. Mao holding the top spot at 5,000 points. Wood Evening. That's a good show. That's something I can be proud of, right? That's a good show down there. All right. Question 8, round 1. Who did the Lord God describe as my shepherd? Who was it that the Lord described clearly as my own shepherd? Was that Cyrus? Antiochus? Was it Artaxerxes? Or Nebuchadnezzar? If I have to say so myself, I think that the name Artaxerxes is maybe one of the funnest names to say. It's second only in line to Ahasuerus. 4 correct answers in on this, and in fact, it was Cyrus, king of the Medes and the Persians, when they came in and conquered Babylon, took over Babylon. And that's what we've heard in the past several years, this idea that somehow Donald Trump represents Cyrus from prophecy. I don't think so, but you can think that if you like. It doesn't make much difference. We would have to assume that Donald Trump is the Lord's shepherd. I don't know. Maybe you think that. Maybe you're into that. I don't know. I'm not into the Donald Trump prophecy myself. If you want to know why, just go on this channel sometime and watch the Daniel series of Bible studies. A straight Protestant eschatology is all it is. And here we go. Carissa back on top, 5,400. There's Maurice, 5,100. EKC holding the middle, the glue, the sandwich, and the meat in this trivia sandwich. Too cool for school. And Wood Evening, lurking around the cellar. Question number 9. The Sermon on the Mount teaches us that sin can involve what? From the Gospel of Matthew, the Sermon on the Mount teaches us that sin can involve what aspects? Which of these aspects can involve sin? Could it be your thoughts? Could it be your words? Could it be your actions? Or could it be all of these? Could all of these be sinful? The answers are pouring in quickly. Answers are rolling in. We're going to beat the clock by a bunch this time. There it is. We had 15 seconds to spare on the clock on this one. 6 out of 6 answered all of the above. Indeed, the Sermon on the Mount teaches us that sin can involve your thoughts, your words, and your actions. So, do you think you need a savior? Yeah, I think you do, because anything you do here in the flesh can lead you into a sinful path. So, yeah, it's pretty clear. Where do we stand here? There's Carissa with I wouldn't call it a commanding lead, but definitely a little more cushion to work with there. It's good to see Wood Evening and Too Cool for School up out of the 1,000 range. It's good to see. EKC just maintaining a solid presence. We like that. Good news. All right, last question for this round. Here we go. Who asked, "How can a man be born when he is old?" This man was confused. Jesus explained to him what it meant to be born again, and he was like, "What? What are you talking about? How can..." He says in the scripture, "How can a man enter his mother's womb and be born again? This makes no sense to me." But that's not exactly what was meant, was it? Who was it that asked this question of Jesus? How can a man be born when he is old? As we move on down the line, I'll throw out a hint. It was not an apostle. I like that, Chris. I like Chris's zest and zeal for a righteous victory out there in the chat tonight. I like that. We like to see the battle go back and forth. All right, here we go. Who asked, "How can a man be born when he is old?" Yes, indeed, that was Nicodemus. One of the Jews who was very interested in what Jesus had to say. He was interested in this gospel. And that brings us to the end of round 1, and we see Carissa at the top with 7,392 points. I think so far the record was 8,000 points by the same Carissa. Maurice comes out of nowhere, joins the show and the game tonight, and right there, battling for the top spot right off the bat. Good evening. You've got a little work to do down there. All right, my friends. That will do it for round one. Now, if everyone will hold what you got for a few moments. We'll be right back with round two in just a couple minutes, folks. You're watching Bible Trivia Live on the Brad from Carolina YouTube channel, Armor of Truth Ministry. Anyone who wants to join along and play, you can get your Kahoot app on your iOS device, Android device, and you'll put in the PIN number that I'll give out just before each round. Anyone who wants to donate live while we're on stream, you can do so with streamlabs.com/PlasteroParis1. The link is in the description. There are 3 ways to donate to the channel/ministry for those who are inclined to do so. All right, folks, back with round two. Just a moment. Enjoy this apologetics content while we wait for round two.
Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. Apologetics seeks to give credible answers to curious questions, to give a defense. What is doubt? The word doubt comes from the Latin word dubitare, rooted in the Aryan word meaning two. Therefore, to doubt means to be in two minds, whereas to believe is to be in one mind. For instance, maybe you're somebody who's wavering between atheism and Christianity, wondering whether or not you are to become a Christian or not. You would be struggling with doubt. Or maybe you're a Christian who's struggling with a certain feeling of doubt over whether God exists or miracles are possible, or if God is good, why do so many people suffer? Well, when it comes to doubts, there are different types of doubts. There are spiritual doubts. For the Christian, some Christians will wonder, am I saved? Charles Spurgeon, the great preacher of the 19th century, was racked with doubts of his own salvation. Imagine going to him and telling him that you're struggling, wondering if you're even saved. And he says, hey, I've often wondered that myself. You might scratch your head. There are also emotional doubts that people can have when it comes to God, wondering, will God take care of me? Does God even know my concern? Does he not see the mess I'm in? And then there are intellectual doubts, doubts where we can struggle, wondering if God's word's reliable, wondering about those who've never heard about Jesus. Will they really spend an eternity separated from him? Have you been hammered by doubts? Well, I want to tell you that there are sincere doubters.
I know I have.
And skeptical doubters. There's antagonistic doubt and there's authentic doubt. But God can use our doubts to deepen us, whereas Satan wants to use our doubts to destroy us. I want to encourage you to deal with your doubts when they come your way, because if you struggle with doubts,
Ladies and gentlemen, your PIN number for round two is 265430. 265-430. Pin number for round 2 on your Kahoot app.
You can be someone who struggles with losing your joy in your faith, an internal turmoil. It can make you a second guesser. It can really limit your life. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a series of videos that can help you to know how to process doubt by first understanding the nature of doubt.
Welcome, my friends. There's your pin number for round 2. It is 265-430 to join in the live interactive trivia contest. How about that, folks? We got 5 people watching. I mean, I'm glad everyone watching's playing the game. Otherwise, wow, how boring would it be? I mean, does... Pin number for round 2 is 265-430. So far in the lobby for this round, we've got Lappy. Good evening, EKC. Too cool for school. And the champ. What happened to Maurice? Maurice came, he saw, and he left. Where's Maurice? Where's Mao? Do we have to play without Mao this time? Mao can join in with the pin anytime. So let's get started. Anybody who wants to join in to the round, you can do so as the round is active with the pin number. You'll see it at the bottom left-hand corner of the game screen. There's Mao. Welcome. All right, 6 contestants. This is interesting, folks. Look at this. We've got 5 viewers and 6 contestants. Interesting. Okay. Here we go. Now, if you happen to see the same question repeated this time, don't think anything of it. Who deserted Paul because he loved this world? From 2 Timothy. The epistle known as 2 Timothy. Who deserted Paul because he loved this world? Was that Titus? Was that Luke? Was that Demas? Or Erastus? One answer is in. Three answers in. 20 seconds remaining. 4 answers in. Who was it that deserted Paul? Because he loved this world. Wasn't very impressed with this gospel message about the next world. Six answers are in. 5 correct answers. Correct answer is Demas. All right. Anybody who wants to join in, if you're just showing up to the stream, you can join into this round anytime you like using the pin number 265-430 on your Kahoot app. Get the Kahoot app on your device, and your iOS device, your Android device, and join right in. The instructions for how to do that are in the description to this video. And there's the champ, a.k.a. Carissa, sitting atop the heap. Question 2. Who decreed that all the world should be taxed? Who decreed that all the world should be taxed from the Gospel of Luke? Was it Caesar Augustus? Are you familiar with the Christmas story? Was it Caesar Augustus? Was it Julius Caesar? Was it Nero? Or was it Bernie Sanders? Who was it that decreed that all the world should be taxed? That there went out a decree from blah, 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 that all the world should be taxed. That there went out a decree from Bernie Sanders that all the world should be taxed. Hopefully we're all aware that Bernie Sanders does not show up in the Gospel of Luke. For Notchback and my Patreon subscribers, I sent out today this 600 word glossary of the King James, called the King James Companion. Over 600 archaic words defined. It's very small. You can slip it right in there if you happen to be someone who reads the King James a lot. This is a valuable piece to keep in there to help you understand what some of these arcane or archaic words that we don't use anymore actually mean. The answer was, who decreed, or the question is, who decreed that all the world should be taxed? Yes, indeed, it was Caesar Augustus. Caesar Augustus is the answer. It was not Bernie Sanders, although he does, that is his position. The champ still sits atop. There's Mao. Mao's just pushing back in there. Lappy holding up the center. Couldn't do it without Lappy. EKC. Too cool for school. Dwelling in the cellar. Question 3. What was Shadrach's Jewish name? Seth the Saxon likes these Daniel questions. I don't think Seth's with us anymore. I mean, he's still alive. I just know he's not here in the game anymore. What was Shadrach's Jewish name? Now, these are Daniel's friends that came with him from Jerusalem into the Babylonian captivity. And when these young men were brought out of Jerusalem and into Babylon and educated in the Babylonian system, their Jewish names were set aside. They were given new names that honored the pagan god. So Shadrach is his Babylonian name. What was Shadrach's Jewish name? Was it Daniel? Was it Mishael? Was it Hananiah or Azariah? Well, we know it's not Daniel because we're talking about Daniel's 3 friends. So you can scratch Daniel out there. It was, in fact, Hananiah. Hananiah, which is a name that all of their names, Azariah, Mishael, and Hananiah, all had, and Daniel too. He was Belshazzar was his Babylonian name. Was Daniel's Babylonian name. And these Mishael and Azariah, Hananiah became known as Shadrach. Mishael became known as Meshach. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And Azariah, Abednego. I hope I've got that right. Let's see here. Mao. Boom. 3 in a row. Mao's sitting at the top. Now that's a pretty commanding lead. That's almost 1,000 points. You have to get with it, champ. Question number 4. Oh, here we go. We got another one. What was Abednego's Jewish name? I think I just gave it away. What was Abednego's Jewish name? Good evening. If you're out there, I just gave this one away. You could get this one if you were paying attention. What was Abednego's Jewish name? And the hint is, it's not Daniel. And we know it's not Hananiah because we just had that one. So that's a 50-50 for you guys out there who might be struggling with this one. There's your 50-50. It's Azariah or Mishael, one of those two. 6 answers in, 3 are correct. Correct answer is Azariah. Abednego. Azariah became Abednego. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and Daniel. Mao, holding the top. Has Carissa fallen asleep? Has Carissa gone to walk the dog? It looks like Wood Evening got the answer right, but I don't see you on the board there, Wood Evening. Zoe Glenn, what I don't see you on the. I see Too Cool for School. Ah, you're playing Too Cool for School. It's Kaiser, it's KJ that's playing Wood Evening, I guess. I don't know which. All right. Anyway, here we go. Now that's a good scoreboard. Everybody's on the board solid there. Question number 5. Who was responsible for raising Esther after her parents died? Who was responsible for raising Esther after her parents died? 10 seconds in so far. The hint will be, it's not Daniel. Another hint is the most Jewish name on that board. Five answers in. Boom. There it is. That's right. Mordecai. Who was responsible for raising Esther after her parents died? It was Mordecai. Mordecai in the gate. Maurice with a comfortable. That's not comfortable. That's not comfortable. That's just a lead. Too Cool for School. Sitting there in second place. Are you kidding me? Outstanding. Question number 6. To which country was Joseph, the son of Jacob, taken as a slave? To which country was Joseph, the son of Jacob, taken as a slave? That photograph will give you some information. To which country was Joseph taken as a slave? Look at the photograph. Look at the picture. I don't know, KJ, sometimes people said they, every now and then they get booted out of the, last time we played this anyway, so people get booted out from the Kahoot server sometimes, so I want to check that. I don't know. 6 answers are in. All answers are correct. In fact, it is Egypt. To which country was Joseph, the son of Jacob, taken as a slave? He was taken into Egypt. Do we all remember how he ended up becoming a slave in Egypt? His brothers sold him out, and he forgave them. Now, there's a lesson in humility. Mao, at the top. Too Cool for School is chomping at the heels. Too Cool for School has a correct streak with 4 correct answers in a row going now. And there's the champ. Champ's just kind of taking it easy. Just kind of taking it easy this round, just sort of lurking. I think we call that sandbagging, maybe. Okay. Next question. Number 7. In the book of Revelation, what happened when the first angel blew its trumpet? Book of Revelation. What happened when the first angel blew its trumpet? Was it an earthquake? Was it a darkening of the stars? Was it Hail and fire? Was it a flood? Or was it coronavirus? There you have it. Hail and fire. Oh, 6 answers in, only 2 correct. Wow. These people there, the studio audience was not very impressed with that one. In the book of Revelation, what happened when the first angel blew his trumpet? Hail and fire. So I guess if you didn't get that one right, you need to get into the book of Revelation. But don't do it until you understand the book of Daniel. It all makes sense. All right. What? Look at Too Cool for School. Too Cool for School has taken over the top spot. 5 correct answers in a row. I smell shenanigans. We'll see, though. All right. Question number 8. Where was Paul when he wrote the book of Colossians? Where was the Apostle Paul when he wrote the book of Colossians? Was he in the desert? Was he on a ship? Was he in the temple or in prison? Four answers in, 3 of them are correct. That's worthy of applause. Paul was, in fact, in prison. He was in prison when he wrote the book of Colossians. Well done, Too Cool for School. Look at that, Too Cool for School, showing up out of nowhere, taking over the top spot. Carissa has gone on a coffee break. Question number 9 in round 2. Which of these creatures is not associated with John the Baptist? Folks, you got to know this one. Which of these creatures is not associated with John the Baptist? I was afraid that one of these questions might show up again, and there it is. Which of these creatures is not associated with John the Baptist? Jean Baptiste. Everyone got in there quick on that one. Good job. Good job. 5 answers, 5 correct. See there, we're learning stuff. Now that proves right there. That proves that if you play along with this game, you're going to pick up some knowledge along the way. There's the proof. Too Cool for School sitting atop. Definitely worthy of applause. Question 10, last question for round 2. Who accused Jesus of an association with Beelzebub? There it is again. Now you won't see these repeated again. Who accused Jesus of an association with Beelzebub? If you were paying attention in round 1, should have no trouble with this one. We have, yes, indeed, the Pharisees. 5 answers, all correct. Well done, well done. Too Cool for School comes out on top with a score of 8,345. That, my friends, looks like a new round record. A new 10-question round record. We've only had 10-question rounds so far, so that is the new record, 8,345. How about that? All right, folks. We will be back for round 3 in just a couple minutes. Stay tuned right here. Anyone who wants to donate live can do so at streamlabs.com/plasterpairs. The links are in the description. There are 3 ways to donate to the channel and ministry. Anyone who feels led to do so, you can find those links in the description, and we would appreciate it because this stuff gets expensive. We want to be ready to get back out and talk to people out in the real world when things get back to whatever normal is. So, stay tuned for round 2. Coming right up.
How is it possible to say that God is responsible?
That is not what we were looking for.
Sovereign.
That's not the video we wanted.
Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. 1 Minute Apologist. Apologetics seeks to give credible answers.
Round
Hey,
3.
welcome to the one.
Round 3 coming up in just a moment.
Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. 1 Minute Apologist. We interview the world's leading apologists to provide credible answers to curious questions.
Brett, where do I begin evangelism with a non-believer?
Well, I think oftentimes Christians feel this pressure to be the ones giving the message all the time, right? We've got the truth, so we need to dump it on people. Or we've got our apologetics, we need to be, giving the arguments. There's certainly a place for that, but I'd say that's the second step. I think the first step, the place you begin, is by asking questions. You want to ask what that person believes, and ask that again and again and again. What do you believe? Okay, clarify that for me. What do you believe about, God, or what is God like? And you're asking a lot of what do you believe, clarifying questions. And then the second thing you ask them is you ask them why they believe it. Okay, so you believe there's a God, you believe he's some impersonal force out there in the universe. Why do you believe that? What reasons do you have? Or you don't believe in God. Why don't you believe that? And so you're getting what they believe, and then you're also forcing them to give justification, because it's not just the Christians who need to.
You might have to explain that comment, Camo. I don't understand that one. Pharisees and descendants alive and well.
And so when you ask that second question, why, you're asking, okay, what's your justification for that? And what you'll find is that most people don't have any good reasons for the things that they believe, or they haven't thought carefully through this. But what this does, by starting with the questions, is you really get to know that person. You really get to know what that person believes, that individual. And even if they label themselves as an atheist or a Mormon or a Hindu, whatever it might be, you still can't assume that you know what that particular individual atheist or Mormon or Hindu believes. And so you want to know the specifics. This dignifies them. When someone sits and listens to you, if you can do this without feeling like you got to jump on everything they say that you think is incorrect, but you just really let them get their worldview out on the table, it dignifies them. That they feel like, well, okay, wow, you think I'm worth listening to, and you really want to get to know them. You dignify them. You get to know their heart, maybe what's troubling their heart, about your views as a Christian, and then that will inform where you go. So if I'm talking with someone who doesn't believe in God's existence, that's going to be my starting point, evidence for God. But if I'm talking to someone who I found out, well, they already believe in God, they just don't think he's the personal creator of the universe, well, then I'm going to start with Okay, well, where would we get information about his nature or something like that? And so that will inform me where I go next. Because sometimes we as Christians are starting to answer questions that people aren't even asking. And so we need to do a much better job of listening. So start with listening first.
Stay tuned for round 3 coming right up, folks. Just a moment. This thing is not.
Welcome to the one. Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. We interview the world's leading apologists to provide credible answers to curious questions.
Frank, what's the one question that every believer should ask an unbeliever?
I think the question is, if Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? Because that clears away all the smoke screens that people have. If a person hesitates at all when you ask them that question, the problem isn't purely intellectual. It's also volitional. They don't want it to be true. I ask this question on college campuses all the time, Bobby. I say, if Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? Of atheists who are standing in the question line and are getting a little hostile with me. And on 3 occasions in the past 2 years, I've had atheists yell back at me, "No!" I said, "No, wait, why are we even here? Why don't we just go have pizza?" What do you mean? No.
Yeah,
I said, "Wait, you claim to be an atheist.
I understand
you're
you're saying
Never
that
mind if atheists
Pharisees and are alive and well, but who are you talking about? Who are they that are alive and well today? Who are you pointing out as the Pharisees?
True reason doesn't exist because we're just molecules in motion, but let's leave that aside. I ask you, if Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? And you say no? How's that reasonable? How's that rational? Yeah. It's not. They don't want it to be true. And usually they don't want it to be true because they don't want to have any moral accountability to anyone. They just want to do their own things. In fact, I have an article on this on our website called Sleeping with Your Girlfriend. And the implication of it is, quite frequently, atheists want to be atheists because they don't want the moral accountability or the moral restraints that they perceive Christianity.
I get all that. I'm wondering who you would point to today as being, after all, the Sanhedrin.
Many are not.
You know,
no,
those
in fact,
those groups. Which people are you referring to today? It's a good point to make that the Sanhedrin are out. You know, they're those types of people are out there today.
Never read them, Bobby. And I said, look, I don't care where you are in terms of your religious upbringing or what your thoughts are.
Who do you think? Who would you say is the synagogue of Satan? I guess is what I'm getting at.
In history. Don't tell me you're on a search for truth if you have not even looked into what he allegedly has said. You're not on a search for truth. You're on a quest to suppress the truth. How could you not look into the most influential human being in history if you're on a search for truth?
Round 3 coming right up, my friends. Just about got this one ready to go.
Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. We interview the world's leading apologists to provide.
We got to make sure these questions don't repeat.
Curious questions.
Frank, is truth true for you, but not for me?
I always hear that, and I usually say, is that true for everybody? Is true for you, but not for me, true for everybody? Because if true for you, but not for me is true for everybody, then true for you and not for me can't be true because it's true for everybody. I know that can give you intellectual constipation, but that's because it's self-defeating. It's actually, there's an easier way of illustrating this. True for you, but not for me. Say, sure, go try that with your bank teller. Go to your bank teller one day and say, look, I'd like $100,000 out of my account. The bank teller looks at your account and says, I'm sorry, sir, you only have $47.16 in your account. That's easy to get the money. Bobby, you simply say, that's true for you, but not for me. Give me the $100,000. Are you going to get the money? No, you're not. If it's true, there's only $47.16 in your account. That's true for all people at all times in all places when referring to your account at that time. It's just true. And by the way, it's true that Jesus rose from the dead. If he really did, that's true for all people at all times and all places. If he really did. Of course, it's not true if he didn't rise from the dead. And I think the evidence is quite strong that he did. So saying it's true for you, but not for me may sound good. It's the mantra of our culture, but it's self-defeating. It's logically self-defeating, and it just doesn't work.
Sounds like you're trying to say that truth corresponds to reality. Frank.
I am. I'm actually trying to say that.
Imagine that. Truth corresponds to reality. Try explaining that to an atheist. All right, folks, we're ready for round 3 for tonight's. Round 3, and then we'll have a round 4, and that might be all we have time for, unless we take up a bonus round of general knowledge questions. We'll see how it goes. So get your Kahoot apps out and ready to go. Your PIN number's coming right up. For round number 3, your PIN number will be 671228. 671228. Yeah, the reason I was mentioning that, Camo, I was just curious who you were pointing at that you would feel is the synagogue of Satan today. Most people would point to those who call themselves the Jews but are not, referring to Scripture. Some people would go with that. Some people just like to point to Israel flat out and say, yeah, there's the synagogue of Satan. But you get into a little trouble when you do that, because you're including a whole nation of people when you can't know the heart. No man can know the heart of another person. You can see the actions, that's for sure. But it's dangerous to play that game I'm not saying you're doing this, I'm just speaking now. It's dangerous to play that game where we say, Israel bad. Israel just bad all over. Because there's a lot of people there, just like there's a lot of people in America who don't necessarily get along with or not exactly in line with what our government teaches and preaches. That would be me. So it's synagogue of Satan is a term that gets used up quite a bit today. I'm not sure what most people mean by it when they use it. So I just thought I would ask and see what your distinction would be. All right, 6 folks are in the lobby, ready to go. There's Pam Pants, showed up in the chat. Pam Pants, you're just in time for 2 rounds we have left. You've joined up right in the middle. If you're interested in playing, you can get that Kahoot app and give it a try. Camo says it would be Chabad Lubavitch would be your first guest at the synagogue of Satan. Could be, but we got to have evidence. When we throw out claims, we've got to be able. Now, I wouldn't disagree with you, but as an apologist, as someone who tries to defend Christianity and show that it's true, when I take a message to someone, I'm not allowed to make claims, especially to atheists, non-believers. I'm not allowed to make claims that I can't back up with some sort of evidence that makes sense. But I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I just said we have to be careful at the way we approach that issue. It's real easy to sit back and say, Chabad Lubavitch, synagogue of Satan, or Bibi Netanyahu, synagogue of Satan. But, have to be careful about that. Because what we can do is we can end up presenting a poor witness for the faith if we get too trigger happy and stuff like that. All right, pin number 6712248, round number 3. Pam has joined in. We've got 6 people. We're ready to roll with round number 3. 10 questions. Shouldn't have any repeats here. Are we ready to go? Elijah stayed with a widow in this city. Elijah stayed with a widow in this city. By the way, Camel Masso, I love you, my brother. I'm just trying to have a side conversation. Elijah stayed with a widow in this city? Was it Jerusalem, Sidon, Bethlehem, or Zarephath? Answers are pouring in. We have a spectrum of answers out there. Elijah stayed with a widow in this city. It was Zarephath. 2 correct answers on that one. Oh, easy back there. Studio audiences, they're not very kind. They don't have much patience. Too cool for school. Jumping out to an early lead. All right. Sometimes the first question gets a little bit tricky with getting the answers in. We'll see how it goes. Question number 2. How many books are there in the King James Bible? Get fast. How many books are in the King James Bible? Counting the Old Testament and the New Testament, how many books are in the King James Bible? I'll give you here's your first clue. For those who might not know it off the top of your head, your first clue will be 2 of those numbers up there add up to the amount of books that are in the King James Bible. So that gives you a 50-50 right there. Nope, that's not right. What I just said is not right. 2 of those numbers don't add up to the amount of books in the Bible. That's incorrect information. But the answer is up there. How many books are there in the King James Bible? We have 6 answers, 5 correct. And that pleases the studio audience. They're very happy with that. All right. Let's see. Who came up? Pam. Look at Pam. Out of nowhere, Pam just joins the game and takes over. Like some type of juggernaut. Out of nowhere. Look at me. I'm here to win. And the champ, actually, her name is now Champ? With the question mark? Champ. I don't know. She'll have to earn it back, I guess. All right, guys. Here we go. Question number 3. In what town did Jesus heal a widow's only son? In what town did Jesus heal a widow's only son? For sure, Camo. The things that you see coming out of Chabad Lubavitch and some of those groups like that, they're secret. They're secret societies, and you can't expect anything good to come from a secret society, because why must it be a secret society? If you remember what Jesus said about the faith, what he said specifically about his actions according to the gospel, he said, I have done nothing in secret. I've done nothing in secret. So that's kind of a lesson we can take from that. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you on where you're coming from there. Okay, in what town did Jesus heal a widow's only son? It was Nain. Oops, there we go. We have Nain. We have 4 correct answers. Pam in firm control of the top spot. Maybe it's not firm control, but there is a little cushion there. Wood Evening is back in the game. Something's happened to Maurice Grenier. Come on. Question number 4. In the book of Revelation, what falls to the earth that makes the waters bitter? In the book of Revelation, what is it that falls to the earth and makes the waters bitter? Was it a lamp? Was it a star? Was it incense? Or was it an angel? It's a pretty easy 50-50 on that one there. Only 2 of those answers even make sense. you're just joining in on the stream and you want to get into this round, get your Kahoot app on your iOS or Android device. Get registered right quick on Kahoot. You don't have to register. You just have to answer a couple questions about how you're using the game or the app, and just say you're using it socially when prompted. And then you can, when prompted to do so, you'll find at the bottom of the screen you can input a PIN number. Tap that button and put in the PIN number that's available there on your screen, 671-2248. It's available in the chat too, thanks to Pan and Pats. All right. In the book of Revelation, what falls to the earth that makes the waters bitter? 'Twas a star. 5 correct answers on that one. Pam Pants in control. Good evening. Good evening. Into second place. Good evening has a streak of 3 correct answers in a row. Question number 5. In Revelation 16:12, what is recorded as happening when the 6th vial or bowl is poured out? In Revelation 16:12, what is recorded as happening when the 6th vial or bowl is poured out? Did the river Euphrates dry up? Was it a great earthquake? Was it that sores came upon all men? Or was it that the waters became blood? What is recorded as happening in Revelation 16:12 when the angel's 6th vial or bowl is poured out? Prophecy, folks. We're going deep into prophecy in our trivia game tonight. There we go. We got a disbursement of answers here. That's prophecy questions can get a little bit tricky, especially when we come from the book of Revelation. And the answer is yes, the river Euphrates dried up when the 6th vial or bowl was poured out. In other words, what's being poured out is God's judgment, God's wrath, and it comes without mixture, which means it's full strength. God's wrath in these times can be meted out in a watered down fashion. We've never seen God's full wrath. But in the end times, when you see in Revelation, what we're told there is that God's wrath will be poured out, using that terminology, without mixture, full strength. So you want to be on the right side of things when that happens. All right, Pam Pants in control at the top. Good evening, making a run for it. Good evening and Too Cool for School. Your scores are very similar. What does a teacher do when they see someone's answers are very similar? Perhaps send you to the principal's office? Question number 6. Where was Solomon crowned king of Israel and Judah? Where did Solomon get his crown? Where was he crowned? And on your screen, you will see that is the place where Solomon was crowned king of Israel and Judah. Both kingdoms at once. Was that on Mount Or? Was it at the banks of the river Jordan? Was it at the spring called Gihon? Or was it in Jerusalem? Pam Pants, I see a premillennialist. Cool. I don't know if I agree or not, but that's definitely a point of view that a lot of people have. And that's okay, by the way. Eschatology, when people take certain positions on eschatology, we have no need or right to be judging people because of their various eschatologies, because eschatology is mystery. It's mysterious. 2 answers on that one. It was at the spring called Gihon. All right. 2 correct answers on that one. So, 2 correct, 2 incorrect. Just slow claps. All right. Pam Pants is still out in front. Question number 7. Who compared false teachers with wandering stars? Who compared false teachers with wandering stars. And there you get one on your screen. One of those false teachers galore. I think the reason I would point out that eschatology is that we ought not judge one another for having a different idea of eschatology or what will happen in the end times, because prophecy is conditional. We know that Jesus is coming back. The second coming will happen, but the exact events, we can't know that. It's not set up quite that way. We know enough. We know what we need to know to be able to know whether or not it's Jesus or whether or not it's a false Messiah. Prophecy is conditional because when you look at Jonah, when he went to Nineveh, they were going to be destroyed, but Jonah showed up and prophesied to them, and because of their actions, they weren't destroyed, and they were prophesied to be destroyed. So that tells us, in essence, that prophecy can be conditional. Now, that doesn't mean that the end is not coming. That means that the way it comes could vary and change. All right, 4 correct answers. Who compared false teachers with wandering stars? It was Jude, brother of Jesus. 4 correct answers. Well done. Too cool for school. Just shows up and takes over. How's that? Well, not quite. Only 50 points. A 54-point lead over the champ. The champ's going to try to make a comeback right here in the fourth quarter and take over. I'm interested to see what happens here. I think we're at the last question, maybe. No, we're not. We're on question 8. 3 questions left. What answer did the Pharisees give when asked where John's baptism came from? When the Pharisees were confronted with this issue, what did they say when they were asked, where did this John's baptism come from? This is from the Gospel of Matthew. Did they say it came from heaven? Did they say it came from earth? Did they say it came from men, or did they say, we don't know? That's a good way to say it, Pam. You're hopeful to escape. I would be too. I would think that's a fairly healthy way to look at it, to be hopeful to escape it. Because we know it's going to look bad. It's going to look bad when that happens. There we go. What answer did the Pharisees give when asked where John's baptism came from? They said, we don't know. We don't know. 6 answers, 1 correct answer. Sorry, that's the studio audience. They're mean sometimes. All right, too cool for school. How did the top 2 scores stay the same? Interesting. All right, here we go. Question number 9. After which event was there a great persecution against the church in Jerusalem? We're looking deep into the book of Acts now. After which event was there a great persecution against the church in Jerusalem? Was it after the healing of a cripple? Was it after the death, the stoning of Stephen? Was it after the raising of Tabitha? Or was it after the imprisonment of Peter? After which of these things did a great persecution against the church of Jerusalem, the church in Jerusalem, come? I hear you, Maurice. Somehow or another, this YouTube channel seems to be marginalized and stuffed in a box. So if you're joining in on something with this channel, it wouldn't be surprising for that to happen. There we go. After which event was there a great persecution against the church in Jerusalem? Well, that would be after the death of Stephen, after Stephen was stoned. All right, 2 correct. 3 answers in total on that one. 2 correct. How did that affect the scoreboard? The champ has taken over the spot of being a champion again. Maurice, right there in second place. As we come down to the final question of round 3, everyone's within striking distance. You can't say this one's over. Interesting. Let's see what happens here on this last question. Question 10, complete this verse. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered blank. Complete this verse. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, and yea, we wept when we remembered blank. Was it God, Egypt, Bethlehem, or Zion? I see, Pam. Yours froze up. That seems to happen sometimes. But it's still pretty cool because I haven't been able to find anyone else out there who has a way of doing trivia where it's actually interactive. I've seen there is a trivia channel that I follow on YouTube, but everyone plays along in the chat, which is what we did here at the beginning of all this when we first started doing this, and that's fun too. But I want to figure out a way to do it interactively where people could actually play along. You could play along in the chat too. You could put the answers up in the chat during this as well if you wanted to. But complete this verse. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, and yea, we wept when we remembered Zion, said the Israelites. Final question of round 3. There it is. And the champ, that would be Carissa, has come out on top. 4,261. Look at those scores. After we just had a round where we got up into the 8,300 range, these questions were either more difficult or the Kahoot system is causing trouble for people. Either way, the champ won that round, answering everyone got 5 out of 10, right? So that's good. That's what we're looking for here. We're looking for learning. Well, looking for get 10 out of 10, actually, isn't it? All right, my friends, round 4 coming up in just a couple moments. I've already got round 4 ready to go. So let's take a look at another short video, and round 4 will be right back up after this short message from the 1 Minute Apologist. Learning to defend your faith when people challenge you. Why are you a Christian? You know God doesn't exist, right? You're just silly. You need a crutch, man. You use religion because you need a crutch. You know, science doesn't prove God exists. Science can't prove, whatever. If you want to learn how to answer those challenges, that's what apologetics is. Sometimes the only way to get to evangelism is to break through with apologetics. Not every case, but it's very useful. Is God a human invention? Here you go. Check this out.
Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist.
If you had 1 minute
Apologia.
to be able to unpack for the audience,
We interview the world's leading apologists to provide credible answers to curious questions. Well, Sean, I'm happy to see that you got your Spider-Man shirt on today, bro.
You know it, man.
I should have worn my Pluto one for you, dude.
Pluto.
Actually, I'm a Scooby-Doo guy, so.
Okay, Scooby-Doo's cool.
Scooby-Doo guy.
It's cool.
Let me ask you a question. A lot of people out there, they're thinking about this idea of God, and some would say that God is a human invention. How would you respond to somebody who posed that?
I hear that a lot,
Mhm.
especially skeptics or agnostics think that it's something that we've made up. The problem is that the evidence for the existence of God is compelling. Whether it's the origin of the universe, there has to be a beginner. Whether it's the incredible amount of information that we see in the cell, has to come from an author. Whether it's the laws of physics being incredibly fine-tuned, just exquisitely for life, or whether it's the historical evidence for Jesus Christ. When something's an invention, we know it because we've been able to just make it up and invent it. But when it comes to Christianity, there's truths in the world that point toward this really being true, being real.
Thanks, Sean. Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. We interview the world's leading apologists to provide credible answers to curious questions.
Are there any justifiable reasons why God would allow for there to be suffering and evil in this world?
Sure, absolutely.
The most important
Even if we
question
don't
you
know what those
get
things
from an
are.
unbeliever is this
I
one.
think we have to
Why
step
does God
back from
allow
this and
suffering?
realize there's a chasm of knowledge between an infinite God and finite human beings. And a great analogy is the kind of the chasm of knowledge between a parent and a child. Right? I mean, when my kids are babies, I take them to the doctor to permit that doctor, to allow that doctor to stick them with needles, right, to cause them pain. And they have no clue why I'm doing this. They have no understanding of why I'm doing this. But I have, as a dad, morally sufficient reasons to take them to the doctor to cause them pain or to allow this pain into their life, ultimately for some greater good. Even when my kids are older, when my 4-year-old still has to go get her shots, and I reason with her.
Personally,
Dad, why are you doing this?
I would say this is a terrible way to argue that point, but that's just my
morally
opinion.
Sufficient reasons to do. I don't put it in that language, but essentially that's what I'm trying to say to her. Well, because the shot's going to help you, protect you from diseases or things like that. Well, even with my 4-year-old, even when I give her the explanation, what does she say to me? She doesn't say, "Oh, okay, Dad, I'll go get the shot then." She looks at me and goes, "No, I still don't want to go," because there's this gulf of understanding. And from my perspective as an adult, someone who has a lot more knowledge, I see the good reasons why I would allow this kind of pain and suffering into her life, because I have morally sufficient reasons. In the same way, if there's a gulf between a 4-year-old and a parent, just think about the gulf of understanding and knowledge between God and human beings. And so this is where we also have to trust. We have to trust in the character of God, that he has good reasons to allow.
Okay, ready for round 4 to get going now. I would just say, as in the commentary to that particular piece, the point he's making there is it's in good spirit. His point. I would never myself would never use vaccination as a way to explain why God allows suffering in the world, because he might have morally sufficient reason to believe that the vaccines are safe and effective. But do you have good evidence to show that they are? That would be my only question about it. And then we could debate that. But God allows suffering in the world because he allows us to choose whether we'll serve him or not serve him. See, God is fair. God is just. And that's the way you would approach this from an apologetics point of view. When an atheist says to you, there can't be a God, or there wouldn't be suffering in the world, you can just ask them, why? Why does there being a God have anything to say about whether or not there would be suffering in the world? But then they would say, well, surely a good God wouldn't allow children to die of bone cancer, right? Well, who caused that? Who caused this fallen condition that we're in right now? Was that God's fault? If it was God's fault, then shouldn't we be robots? Shouldn't we be robots? If God controls everything and doesn't allow anyone to even stub their toe, do we have free will? Under such a setup where God controls everything and doesn't allow anyone to get hurt, could love exist? No. If you're a robot and you can't choose for yourself, there's no such thing as love. Because evil exists, that proves that God exists. Because evil exists, love exists. Because evil and love exist, that means we have a choice. We get to choose who we will follow and which way we will go. And that's how you can deal with the argument in a very rudimentary sense. I'm not completely skilled at giving these arguments, but that's basically it. That's basically how I respond when people bring that up to me. God has sufficient reason to allow all of this stuff that happens because he has allowed us to be able to choose for ourselves what path we will take. And if God is a timeless, spaceless, the creator of all, then he has seen the beginning from the end. He knows what is going to happen. He knows whether or not it's It's morally sufficient for a little suffering to happen here so that in the end, more people will be led to Jesus Christ. And here's another point about that, just for a moment, if you indulge me, just for a moment. Have you ever noticed that when times are good and there's prosperity, less people come to Jesus Christ? When things are great, when things are perfect and rosy, people don't seem to have a need. People don't seem to want to seek out proper religion. But where people suffer, the faith is usually the strongest. Watch Michael Jones' video on the YouTube channel, Inspiring Philosophy, about the problem of evil. It's about an hour long, and you'll come away from that understanding exactly why we can make the case for God's existence because evil exists. So there you go. There's my apologetic spiel for the night. One more thing. If you want to have a conversation starter with someone who's not a believer, who doesn't believe that God exists, who thinks that there's just a big bang and that's all, here's your argument. Kalam, cosmological argument. Two premises and a conclusion. Number one, whatever begins to exist has a cause. Number two, the universe began to exist. Number three, or the conclusion, therefore, the universe has a cause. And then after that point, you can argue, what is that cause? But what you can't argue is that the universe, or that you can't argue that things pop into existence out of nothing. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. If you defend that premise, no one can tell you that, no, things do pop into existence out of nothing. You can't defend, you can't negate that premise. And we know now from the most common cosmological model available to man in the world today that the universe had a beginning. Now, that's not saying that's what you have to believe. We're just using the most common cosmological argument to make the case to the unbeliever that God exists, that God created it all, by using their own theory. See how eloquent or how elegant that is, how well that works when you use science to show that there must be a creator? That's apologetics. That's part of apologetics. Round 4 is ready right now. People are getting bored with my apologetics rant. All right, folks, we're ready for round number 4. As soon as I can find it here, we're ready to go. This is going to be a Bible quotes round. A set of questions that I've just made up. I've just written these questions today, and we're ready to go. If you want to join in, get on your Kahoot app. Put in your PIN number that I'm about to give you. Round 4 and the final round for tonight's trivia contest. You can get involved with it if you put in the PIN number 4720711. If you don't want to use the app or you don't like the app, you can try logging in with your laptop or some other device or computer. You can go to www.kahoot.it and you can put in your PIN number there and join along and answer the questions that way if you like. It's more than one way to skin this cat. Thanks for sharing the PIN number in the chat, Carissa. Your PIN number is 4720711. The fourth and final round for tonight's competition. And this round will have to do with quotes. You'll either finish the quote or name. And we have a troll. Very well done, my friend. So we can just leave that. All right. Thanks for that. You think you're pretty cute, don't you? Troll. All right, so here's what we'll do about that. Don't think I can't think on my feet, fellas. Think you come in here and shut this thing down? Think again, brother. All right, round 4 is going to be run a little differently, but it's going to be run. That's what happens sometimes, folks. You get folks out there who are typically atheists or just jerks, just people who don't have anything better to do. They want to stop off and pick on a YouTube channel that has 5 people watching. What a hero you are. Here we go. All right, so we've got the old school Bible Jeopardy we'll get into on this one. This one looks really good on the screen. This is the best looking version on the screen. Now on this version, you'll answer in the chat. You'll just answer as quickly as you can, and the first person to answer gets the cookie. All right. There we go. That one's ready to go now. Look at that. I was wondering how long it would be before we would have some bored pagan show up and want to throw this thing off the rails. Well, it happened. Did you guys see what happened there? Oreo, why don't you say something in the chat, Oreo? All right, folks, we're ready to roll. Now we're gonna, on this round, we'll take care of the troll business. By the next time we play using the Kahoot app, we'll have to. What we'll do is we can send out. I can send out invitations. We'll see. Figure it out later. All right. Now, here we go. Now, in this format, we have a mixture, a nice mixture. We play boys against girls. All right. And if we have Mo Grenier still in the house, that's going to be good for the guys. Because somebody has to take on this Carissa and Pam juggernaut. In the Kahoot thing, it was just some bored atheist with nothing to do. As you know, most of them do, sitting around, nothing to do. Let's pick on Christians because we're smart. We're smarter than they are. Yeah, the Kahoot app is off now. I had to turn it off because we had a troll show up in and create about 50 usernames instantly. So, all right. So to answer this one, you just put your answer in the chat as quick as possible. Girls are playing for the girls team and boys are playing for the boys team. And we'll see who's got more correct answers at the end of the match. All right. And I will keep up with that number right here. when you miss an answer, when you give an answer and it's wrong, your team has a point deducted. So that gives you the incentive to make sure that your answer is right before you put it up there. No, Pam, you're going to put your answers in the chat from now on. We had to kill the Kahoot app. We got raided by an idiot. All right. So we have categories. Now, we've tried this before, and because of the delay, it doesn't really work to let the chat pick the category. It just takes twice as long that way. So I will pick the category, and we will go starting at the first question down to the fifth question, and we'll play 1 point per correct answer, minus 1 point for an incorrect answer, and we'll see who wins at the end. Typically, the girls win this. So there you go, guys. There's your incentive. All right. Never mind these colors up here. That's for something else. We're going to start out with the Old Testament. Aaron and Hur helped Moses gain the victory over the Amalekites by doing this. Aaron and Hur helped Moses gain the victory over the Amalekites by doing this. And this is from Exodus 17. Looking for the first answer to fall up in there. Aaron and Hur helped Moses gain the victory over the Amalekites by doing this from Exodus 17. Anybody got a shot? Anybody got an idea? Yep, we don't have multiple choice anymore. You have to know the answer on this one. This is why this was so good, because you have to come into the game with knowledge. The correct answer is holding Moses' hands was the correct answer. That's from Exodus 17. So if you want to look up that one later and see what that's all about, Exodus 17. Let's move over to New Testament. Sorry, Carissa, you put your hold hands up. So Carissa got it right. All right, girls. Girls got one right. No, that's not the right thing. There we go. The boo is for the host. Sorry. All right, so Carissa got that one right. The girls are in the lead 1-0. I didn't see your answer, Carissa. Sorry. Very sorry. All right, New Testament. Here we go. Paul desired for men to come unto this after they were saved. Paul desired for men to come unto this after they were saved. Come into a new way of what? 1 Timothy chapter 2. Carissa comes in with knowledge of Jesus Christ. KJ is right in there on the back with truth. What is the answer? Does Carissa get it? What is the knowledge of the truth? Knowledge of the truth. First boy's answer is correct. First girl's answer is wrong. So that one balances out. We are Oh, gosh. That's what I said, wasn't it? First answer counts. So we're back to 0-0. All right, but that's a good answer. That's a good answer from Too Cool for School, as he was known over in Kahoot. I guess that was. All right. I know that answer of yours, Chris, the knowledge of Jesus Christ. That knowledge of the truth. I see what you're saying there. And that you think, well, why is that wrong? Jesus Christ is the truth, but it's the wording of the verse. All right, let's go back to let's go to life of Jesus for 100, or let's just go to that question. These three disciples were Jesus' closest friends. Which three disciples were Jesus' closest friends? Ah, that's a pretty good question. Carissa jumps in with John, James, and Peter. Where's my board? There it is. Okay. Who is Peter, James, and John? And the girls are right back in top. Right back in the lead. Places. So a little bit of Bible geography, perhaps. Moses received the 10 Commandments on this mountain. Moses received the 10 Commandments on this mountain from Exodus 31. That's a good try there, KJ, on the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That was Daniel. That was Daniel's three friends. Carissa jumps in with Mount Horeb. It is Sinai. Did I miss anybody? No. Carissa came in with Horeb, and the ladies dropped back to 0. 0-0. Wow. Sinai, same mountain. I get it, but we've got to. I mean, I have to. If I don't go with the answer. General question. This book tells of 7 seals, 7 vials, and 7 trumpets. All right, guys, you gotta go, guys. You didn't say that. You didn't say the right things, though. You said John, Simon, and Philip. You said the wrong people. All right, I was checking Exodus 17 there. Krista can definitely make a case for Horeb. All right. This book, Carissa gives Book of Revelation. Indeed. Book of Revelation. Ladies won. Gentlemen 0. Oh yeah, I'm messing up the game. I'm getting the wrong person first. It's all right. We got just a few questions left, and this mayhem will be over. Jacob made this for Joseph from Genesis 37:3. Jacob made this for Joseph. These are a little tougher, you see. You don't have the multiple choice. I do have a multiple choice game to play, but we'll have to wait for that one for next time. Kaiser is in there first with coat. Do I see a coat? It is, in fact, a coat. Now, I've got Carissa. Carissa got it first. I messed up again. Girls, 2. Gentlemen, 0. But there's good answers. Look at these answers. People got it right. That's what we're here for. We're here for the learning. We're here for the learning. That's what we're here to do. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 questions. We're going to 10 questions. Let's go down here to the bottom and see if we can find some tougher ones. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 4 questions left to go. Let's go New Testament. The parable of the fig tree is recorded in this book and chapter. The parable of the fig tree is in which book and chapter? Get that Baptist air conditioning going. This is Baptist air conditioning right here. That's Baptist air conditioning. Flipping those pages, man. Kaiser says, must try harder. Must try harder. Girls, 2. Gentlemen, nothing, with 3 questions left to go. Yes, Miss Zoe, that is not a book or a chapter. The book and the chapter we're looking for. And the answer is Matthew 24. And we got Zoe jumping in first with New Testament, which just happens to be... It's in the New Testament, right? It's in there, but book and chapter. You see, here's a good point. Here's a good teachable moment. The New Testament, the whole Bible, in fact, is not a book. It is, in fact, a library. A collection of books written over 1,500 years by more than 40 authors to different audiences in different parts of the known world. The Bible is it's not a book in itself. It's a library of scriptures that tell of the life and times of the Israelites right up to the birth of Jesus. And then it becomes a biography of Jesus, and then letters to and from, or to the people at the various churches throughout the New Testament. You'll have in the New Testament epistles, which are letters written from apostles to other churches and things like that. And you'll have biographies, which are the Gospels. 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the Gospels. Those are the biographies of Jesus' life. So what you see is the New Testament, Old Testament, you have a library, not just a book. So there's the teachable moment. So ladies, because of Zoe's zealous effort to throw out New Testament, the ladies drop back to 2. But look at that learning moment. Look at that teachable moment we got out of that. All right. 7. 3 questions left to go in this one. Girls, 1. Boys, 0. It's anybody's game. We're going to the life of Jesus here. This prophet gave the prophecy He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. And with his stripes we are healed. This prophet gave this prophecy. He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. And with his stripes we are healed. Carissa's all over it. Indeed, Isaiah, because, well, you know, the scripture reference there gave that one away. Girls 2. Boys 1. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 questions remaining. We're going to places. Places are good. Isaiah lived here. Where did Isaiah live? Come on, guys. You got to get this one, guys. You got to get this one. Where did Isaiah live? Greetings to Elizabeth, our newest patron to the channel. Welcome. It's good to see you, Elizabeth. You just dropped in at the last moment, but it's good to see you nonetheless. Isaiah lived. Where did Isaiah live? Who's going to... Oh, there we go. Chris is already... Carissa is the first one with Jerusalem. What is Jerusalem? Ladies 3, boys 0. Tenth and final question of round 4. We're going to cheat. This question's worth 5 points. This chapter of this book tells of great heroes of the faith. This chapter of this book tells of great heroes of the faith. Now remember out there, we're talking about a book inside the library that is the Bible, and we're looking for a chapter inside one of those books. This chapter of this book, we're looking for the name of one of the books. Just looking for a chapter and a book that tells of the great heroes of the faith. Well now, Carissa wastes no time. Hebrews 11. Somebody reads their Bible. And there you have it, my friends. We survived. We survived an attack from the trolls, and we're here. Carissa maintains her position as Queen of Trivia here on the Armor of Truth Trivia Challenge. Girls win again. Just how it is, guys. All right, my friends, let's check in right quick and see how we did. Did we get any more people to join on this? No, we didn't. We got 7 viewers. I don't know, folks. This channel is one of the weakest YouTube channels I've ever seen. And after a year and a half, you would think people would show up. Anyway, we're not going to whine today. We've had a great time. We survived a troll attack. We're in good shape. All right, my friends. I leave you with a hearty God bless you. And we'll see you next time right here on the least watched YouTube channel ever known to man. We'll see you next time.